as we ended before the break, you guys had just finished interrogating psychologically Ord Casto. His acolytes had come in, quickly realized that they were outgunned, threw their weapons down. The villagers behind them all saw what was going on, and you guys basically outlined a plan where if they kept everything going as usual, but just kind of took the governance upon themselves and decided not to follow the forceful and violent ways of Casto, that they could live maybe a more peaceful, happy life. And that you guys would go and try to get rid of the oppression over them in a more permanent way. And Rusty revealed that she has kind of the unique ability to imitate Casto. And so she used his sending stone to send a message, kind of her daily check-in to make sure that Velrath and the other ministers all believe that everything was still going well here. And so no one is the wiser. And so all eyes were on you guys now for direction on, so now what? What are we going to do with Casto and his acolytes? Will we enact martial law and kill them all? Will we ship them off somewhere? What are we going to do? That's where we left off. What are we doing with these guys? And then where are we going to go next?
Request that all of the acolytes come into the chambers.
The acolytes look down, they see the bodies of Tiffany and Carlos on the ground, and too afraid to not obey you, they slowly kind of stepping over the bodies. And again, there's only like 5 or 6 of them. They kind of gather in their room, sheepishly, looking to you guys for direction.
Is this all of the devoted?
Yes. And they look around, and from out in the crowd, you hear Wario, who had met you on the docks and had been pretty friendly, say, "Wait a minute! Don't forget about me!" And he comes running up. He comes in and says, "Hey! Oh wow! Oh goodness! Well, I'm here, guys, and with me being here, this is everyone. Yep."
I love his optimism. Sorry.
He's holding, by the way, like a Starbucks thing of like 4 coffees in the little tray. So he's like, "Oh golly, you guys probably aren't gonna need these anymore, huh? I think no." He kind of sets him down and realizes that the tone of the room is pretty serious. He's like, anyway, and he kind of backs into the rest of the group.
Then he will address them. He goes, "I have spent my entire life seeking the truth, seeking wisdom from all of its sources. I do not fault any of you for following this man. Truth is important. It must be revealed. The manner of which you obtain it can take many forms. However, we should strive to obtain it in ways that do not negatively affect others if possible. People are more likely to be forthcoming with the truth if they do not feel pressured.
You can see they're all listening. They're a little bit like, blood is rushing. Their adrenaline is still kind of going, and they're all like listening, but also like the eyes are darting between you and their leader, like on the ground, trying to shout at them through the leaves stuffed in his mouth.
He goes, This man works with higher power. But it is not a deity. As he pulls out the ring. This is your god. It is a false god. This is magic. Magic that many possess. Your leader does not possess the power to obtain the truth of his own volition, so he cheats. This is not a man that should be followed. I heed that among the remaining, you choose one, and you seek truth the right way.
Roll for, I want to say that's persuasion, but I will also take religion.
You could go either way. Persuasion.
Can I use my reaction? Because I know we're not in combat, it's like bonus actions, reactions, all that. I want to give him Bardic Inspiration. Is that something I can do?
Yeah.
Okay. Persuasion's a +1. Religion is a +3, so I'll take the religion.
And a
Okay.
plus 1d6.
All right, so let's roll
Is that
religion.
Bardic Inspiration a little bit of that like light music that starts playing when the preacher's wrapping up
Yeah,
his
That's
sermon?
right, exactly. Yeah, you just walked up behind him,
So
started
that's
playing
a
piano.
13, and I got a 6 on the D6 Bardic
The
Inspiration.
music was
so
what
that's
was
a
needed,
19.
bro. The music pushed it. The music pushed it.
I love that.
You got a lot of hand raises at the end of that sermon.
The music is swelling a little bit. Yeah. Raise your hand if you
Praise,
want
brother,
today
praise.
to
Or
make
no, preach, brother, preach.
if this is the day. So, yeah, so they all look to you and you can tell that you've really gotten through to them in a meaningful way. And Wario, literally tears coming out of his eyes, and he steps forward and he says, he kind of turns and looks at them and says, "Look, I know historically many of you have kind of looked down upon me, and you know, you've relegated me to the docks. I know that, but I've always believed in the power of truth, and I come from a line of, you know, my family, we were the clerics and the religious leaders of this town before Casto came, and I would love to take back up that mantle and help this town seek truth in the right way moving forward. If you guys will let me, I would love to do that." And they all kind of look at him and nod, and a couple of them kind of take the acolyte robes off that they're wearing anyway. And they're like, "We didn't really like this whole thing anyway. We just liked the power that it gave us." And they kind of look ashamed, and they look at you and say, "Okay, we'll do our best." And Casta still is just looking furious and muffled, shouting from the ground.
Polaris. I'm going to take out the papers. I'm assuming Rusty has like separated the ones out of like stuff we're gonna need going forward, and then just like the dude's notes on like all the town's villagers' dirt.
Yeah.
Is there a villager that looks like they're kind of like the boss?
Yeah, there was that older guy that kind of stepped forward who seemed to kind of have the voice of the town, so to speak.
Okay, she'll go to him with the papers that are just like all the dirt on the town.
I want to note he's an
And-
older guy, by the way, not an old woman.
Not an old woman.
Just drawing attention to that for no particular reason. Anyway, so you approach him.
Make it a highlight.
And she's gonna have the papers, and say, I think at this point, my friends can disagree with me or not if they want, and they can overrule me. But at this point, what is done with Casto should be up to you and your people. I would like to present you everything he has kept on your people. Your confessions were never kept to himself. He wrote them down. They were used to manipulate you and to gain further control upon your people. Here is all that he kept. If you wish to, what you want to do with him, here it is. Basically, here's your evidence of what he's done to your community.
Ooh. I thought you were going to just burn it. You're going to give them the notes and let them decide what to do.
It's their secrets. It's their information.
Yeah. Is anyone stopping her? Are you guys all on board with this plan?
She wants to make information public. Ghana's all on board.
Yeah, I figure Ghana's on top of that because, like, I mean, he's literally on top of Casto right now, but
and Ez comes from more of a tribal mentality of like an eldership, so like Ez would understand that the elder makes the decision.
Amazing.
We're not killing Casto, we're giving the truth, and then we're walking away.
Okay. So, perfect. So you guys, as a reminder, Casto is...
Can Ghana...
Yeah, go ahead.
Can Ghana add one thing?
Yeah.
Because Polaris did say if you want to execute him, right?
Yeah, she said you guys do to him what you want.
Yeah.
He goes, before you make a decision on what to do with him, I urge you, when seeking justice, often many people will resort to violence, such as execution. However, execution is not justice. There is no atonement. There should be atonement. I urge you to find a way to use him, to undo the things that he has done.
So as you say that, you guys hand over these notes, and the town kind of begins to talk amongst themselves. And there seems to be pretty clear resolution in terms of acceptance that Wario is going to take the lead in this church. He's going to kind of serve as the head priest and try to forge a new path for them in terms of seeking truth as a community. And the villagers all begin to kind of talk amongst themselves about what they're going to do. Rusty looks to you guys and says, hey guys, we should probably step outside as they figure out what their plans are. I've got some information I should give you guys on what we can do next and how we can help make some more meaningful change. We're going to be on a little bit of a time crunch to make a real impact and do something about Velrath. I think my deceit will only last for so long. And so with Casto kind of bleeding out on the floor right now, still in pretty bad shape, on the ground waiting for either the mercy of the villagers to heal him and maybe imprison him or mete out justice in whatever way they see fit. Rusty kind of steps through the door and gestures for you guys to follow her out toward the tavern where her brother Rickety worked. And so you guys can follow, or if you have anything left to do in this room that you wanted to do before you go, you'll have a kind of a moment to do that as you leave and head out.
I would follow.
Okay.
As would kind of, as everyone's kind of leaving, he'd just be like, oh, I want to tell him one more thing. I'll be right back. And he goes back into the room. And he's going to use message into his brain.
Okay.
And then he's going to
everyone
make
else,
his...
you guys are heading down to the tavern with Rusty. As you went back in, just, had one more thing you wanted to do real quick. So you're using message, you said?
Yeah, he's gonna go into his brain and he's going to kind of like the whole with the same voice and kind of cheery eeriness of when he was like in Ez's mind, and Ez was like, "Hi," kind of like that mentality. He's like, "I know what you are. I know you're dangerous. You remind me of somebody that I know. You're too dangerous to be kept alive. Maybe they'll give you mercy. Maybe they'll kill you. But at the end of the day, I told you, I don't need cheap tricks like you use. I can get in your brain whenever I want. There's nothing you can do about it." And that's what he's going to message into his head.
Okay. You can roll for intimidation. And I'll say you get to do that with advantage because he's so badly injured. He's not in any position to like try to put up any bravado or defense.
That is a 27.
Yeah, so he is clearly and visibly whatever like anger he was showing before, the shouting through the muffle, through the leaves, he is completely still and just staring at you with total realization that you've got the upper hand here.
And then Ez will make his way back to the party.
Okay. So as you gather in the tavern, you guys sit down. Rickety and Rusty are there, and Rusty looks to you guys and says, "Look, there's like a handful of other people. We're gonna kind of cut to now. It's the afternoon. It's been a little while. You guys sit down. The villagers are all still kind of around. People are just kind of going about life, but they're all just kind of trying to figure out what they're gonna do with this guy. For now, they've just kind of put him in a prison cell, where he'll have to kind of wait out the night. And as he's in his cell, and as you guys are sitting down with Rusty, you begin to talk, and Rusty says, "Look, I've been doing this for a long time. I know where the other ministers are. There's no chance that we have against Valrath unless we can take them down first. So we need to start there. We need to go and take care of these other ministers. But I can also tell you, there is going to be no point in taking them out if we can't also figure out what's going on with his fortress. We could get rid of all of his ministers, but then if we get to the fortress and we've not yet figured out how to get in, what the weaknesses are and how to get through it, we're just fish in a barrel. So here's my plan, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. This is just it's so. Thank you, by the way. I've dreamed of this day for our family, my family, to finally be free from the oppression of Casto. Thank you. Here's my thought. We need someone who can go undercover and investigate the fortress, investigate Velrath's very home, and figure out where the weaknesses are, map out its paths, and figure out how we're going to get in and what we're going to do when we get there. Meanwhile, the rest of us will need to go. We'll pick one of these ministers, and we'll go, and we'll just one by one. I'm not saying we have to kill them. All I'm saying is we need to make sure that they're not supporting Velrath anymore. So we need to decide which one we want to go for next, and we need to decide who is going to go undercover and learn about what's happening with Velrath. I have a way to get you in. I have an idea. I just need to know who wants to take up that mantle. And so she looks to you guys.
Immediately, Polaris' hand shoots up.
Like giddy, like I can go undercover.
I can do that. I'm a cat. I'm sneaky. I can sneak around in the dark.
Almost unnerved by how excited you are to be going into the lair of this big bad. She says, "Okay, here's the plan. You, Velrath has these carriages that come and go where he brings new undead laborers to work on these ships. So the plan is you, Polaris, can, when the next one comes, the whole town will help. We can take the guy that's driving the carriage, and we can capture him and throw him in the prison cell with Ord Casto, and then you can take his place on, impersonate him essentially. And so then you, as an impersonator, can go back, take the carriage back to Velrath's fortress, and can work in the stables, wear his clothes, do all the things that carriage rider would have done. Velrath does not pay close attention to servants at that level. So I'm betting you nobody will notice. You just lay low, poke around, spend a little while doing that. Meanwhile, my recommendation for our group, the rest of us, there's a few options of where we can go. There's the eccentric inventor. His name, let me double check it here. His name is Evo. And Evo, if I'm totally honest, if we could make him the last one we go to, I'd be very grateful. He's not a good guy. He, she kind of gestures to all of the mechanical parts that she has. He's the one that did all of this to me, and it's not somewhere that I'm in a hurry to get back to. So if we could make him the last place we go, I would appreciate that. There's Giovanni. He's a charming, he's the Minister of Culture and Compliance. He runs everything that happens in Viridian City, throwing lavish parties and wining and dining all of the city's elite. This is where much of the funding comes in for Velrath's operations, and it's how he keeps all of the most influential people in Velcora under his thumb. My suggestion is Polaris would probably be a really good resource for any time we spend there. So we probably should wait until Polaris returns before we go to the Viridian City and try to do anything with Giovanni. So that just leaves really the one that is most mysterious to me, which is Velrath's Minister of Strategy and War named Jack. Not a lot of people know about him. All they know, the rumors just say that he's extremely intelligent and extremely wise, and that he's also hardly ever seen. He lives like a hermit deep in a bog. I know where that bog is. That's about it. Once we get there, very little is known about what he's like, what he does. So we'll have to go in. I'm not saying we need to go and kill these ministers. All I'm saying is we need to go and learn a little bit more about who they are and make sure that they're not supporting Velrath anymore. So my recommendation, we go from here to the bog and we investigate what's going on with Jack and see if we can't somehow deal with him, take away his support for Velrath. So knowing how far away that is, I think it should take about 2 weeks. So Polaris, you head to Velcora's fortress, his citadel, and do everything in your power to meet us back in the Viridian City in a fortnight, in 2 weeks. If we see you there, we'll be able to meet back up. We'll let you know everything that happened in the bog with Jack. You can let us know what you discovered in his fortress, and then we'll be able to tackle the situation with Giovanni in the Viridian City together. Sound good?
Lars will put my hand on Rusty's arm. After I return, what was the name of the one guy that's also made of metal like she is?
Her brother, Rickety.
Mm.
No, the big bad she doesn't want to go see.
Right. The mechanical one.
Evo.
The mechanical guy. Evo. When I'm back, I have been practicing what I've learned in university, the way my artificer ways. Perhaps you can help me, and we can increase my own knowledge to help us prepare so we can feel more confident when the time comes to face Ervo.
She looks to you and she has a glimmer of hope in her eyes. You can tell that this is encouraging to her, to have someone who understands what's going on and might be able to offer some meaningful help. So, as things kind of wrap up for the evening, you guys find yourselves getting ready for your journey, your respective journeys. And I'm just gonna say you are able to the guy comes in, he brings a couple of new undead to run the ships and replace some of the ones that got lost for various reasons. And the townspeople managed to collapse upon this this poor driver and throw him in prison alongside Casto. And they take his robe and they give it to you, and his insignia that marks him as a driver, and the big pink mustache that goes on the front of his carriage. And they say, "Great, okay, you've got that ready." You see, Rickety is kind of off to the side. She's drawing out some maps and like reviewing all of her notes to make sure she remembers where to go and where this bog is. And you guys make yourselves a little fire outside the tavern. It's nighttime, the stars are out, it's a clear sky. You can tell the atmosphere in the town is much lighter. There's still some uncertainty, there's still some tension. Casto is not fully dealt with. They're having to make some heavy decisions about what they're going to do with him. But people are feeling much better. And the overall just sense of like darkness and fog over this town seems to have been lifted. You're seeing clear skies. People are just kind of out and about. And you guys make a little fire. You kind of put out your sleeping mats you guys would be using as you travel. And you kind of make a little camp. And before you just take off, you know that you're going to be heading out in the morning. You have some time just to kind of gather your thoughts and talk to each other. And so if there's anything that you guys wanted to catch up with each other about, talk to each other about, talk to Rusty or Rickety about, you have a few minutes to do that before the sun rises and you head off in your different directions.
I think I'm gonna go through my pack and take out like the papers from Casto. She's gonna study them, spend a little time by the fire studying them, like making sure I've got like the names memorized as much as I can, but then hand them off to Doc for while I'm gone. Thinking, well, if something happens, I get captured, I want the least amount of evidence or like information on me that could lead back to the village, or get me in further trouble. And so just handing those off to Doc to hold on to.
Okay.
And as camp's getting set up, as once he's comfortable, pull out his bird pipes and just kind of playing along next to the fire as it's crackling. But this tune is a little less harrowing than the one during combat. It's very much more lo-fi-esque, relaxing.
He's just playing some lo-fi. It's just the lo-fi girl channel from
The lo-fi bard.
YouTube.
It's lo-fi bard.
Amazing. Okay, you're playing some music. Annika, you've been reviewing your notes and handing those off.
Ghana's gonna call over to Doc. Do you have a moment to speak in private?
I would say I don't think anything. I would say I don't really see the need to not share publicly whatever you want to talk about. If we're going to be in this, we need to be in this together.
Fair enough.
As just keeps playing, he's definitely not paying attention.
He's tapping on the side of the flute, so it's lo-fi, really.
Right.
Polaris is always eavesdropping on everything. Let's just be real. She's trying to mind her business, but she can't help herself. There's an ear ever so slightly, satelliting over there.
I asked you earlier why you chose to attack him. You mentioned because he was in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So why is being inside of someone's head a death sentence?
It wasn't. I never wanted him to be dead. I just wanted it to stop. I tried, and we thankfully succeeded in keeping Rusty from killing him. Never wanted the man to die.
Just hear Ez.
I-
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ez. Thanks, Ez. I just wanted it to stop.
But his death was a possibility. If Ez was not able to stop Rusty, you throwing your trident at him was the beginning of a long death sentence.
So who's more important here, Ghana? Or what's more important here? My mind or his life? Or his potential to die?
When a life is taken, it is gone. Was him being in your mind going to result in your mind being gone? By the sound of it, it was simply looking for information. So what is more important, your secrets or his life?
I will sit here and I will tell you every single thing about my life, Ghana. In fact, I will shout it out to the whole village, but I will do it under my own autonomy and not someone trying to steal it or take it by force from me. I have no secrets, but I do have my autonomy as a person, and I will not ever, ever, ever let someone into my head like that who means me harm and not try to stop them. I did not try to kill them. I had no intentions of killing them. If that would have happened, unfortunately, it would have happened. I want to discuss why we had to kill those acolytes. I don't want us to become people who are just
Ghana
killing.
just slowly turns his head to Polaris.
I don't want us to become people who are killing nilly-willy here, but we have to use force sometimes. It's necessary, unfortunately. You know, that is how I feel about it. You know, I have no regrets on how that situation went down. If he would have died, other than the acolytes, but if he would have died, I would have had regrets, and we would have been having more conversations on how to, for one, militarily, strategically, capturing someone and getting information from them is a lot better than them being dead on the ground. And two, you could just simply, I just don't want to be the guy who's going around just killing when I have a choice. Sometimes you don't, but that's how I feel about it. And Doc steps down off of his soapbox.
And perhaps you should work on how you go about that. Because the eyes of the man that threw that trident were not the eyes of the man that poured my almond milk. You traded your armor for an apron. You don't allow violence in your tavern, yet when he was looking for secrets, violence was your first reaction. How is it that a man that can control the very tides of the ocean cannot control his own emotions? If you were to die, because he very well intended to kill you, at least his words would have led to that, how would we get home? You are a leader. You are the only one that has sailed the seas. Whether you want to be our leader or not, you are the best fit. If you were to do something that resulted in your death, it affects all of us. We are in enemy territory.
Ghana would be able to tell that Doc is taking his words to heart, and Doc's facial expression is contemplative. And I just say, okay. I just don't like people in my head. And he just lets it go from there.
Yeah. As you guys kind of resolve your conversation, and you guys make your plans, the fire starts to die. The night gets quiet. The owls and night creatures start to come out, and just the sounds of the night come, and with it, some rest. And you guys are all able to get some sleep. For the first time in a while, some real rest. Not the rest that you get on a boat, which can be a little bit tricky. Not the rest that you got in the tavern where there was a hole in the side and you guys were anxious about your voyage. You get some rest. And as the sun rises, you guys begin to pack your things. Polaris, you head over to the carriage, now donning the disguise that you've prepared, and you get ready to head off. Yes, exactly. You're wearing a mustache.
Yeah. Before we go to bed,
Oh, yeah.
Donna is going to use his last second level spell slot to create some more peanuts. They last 24 hours, so he might as well use the spell slot before the long rest.
Polaris, you get up on the carriage, you get ready. The horses are the townsfolk have kind of readied the carriage for you. The horses have been fed, and Rusty has given you a map that will take you back to the fortress of Velrath, and some instructions on what to do when you get there. She's given you all the tools that she can think to. And is there anything that you want to say to everyone before you to the party and to Rusty before you head on your voyage? Not voyage, journey.
Take notes, because we're gonna write a book, and I don't want to miss anything. And then she'll laugh.
Wonderful.
Be safe, guys. I'll see you later. I'll get what we need.
As we'll run
Excellent.
over, he's gonna give her a leaf. And
I don't understand the cultural significance, friend, but thank you.
that's okay.
You can explain it to me when I get back.
I like that.
Okay. And she's gonna very carefully tuck it into like a smaller pocket inside her bag where it'll be nice and safe.
Great. Okay.
And Ghana will walk up and give her 5 peanuts.
Another leaf.
Another leaf.
I
Just
expected
everybody's
a stern
handing her leaves.
staring at and just be told, "Don't kill anyone."
Wait for it. He's going to give you Polaris 5 peanuts. He goes, "Your actions have been dangerous. I believe that you may need these, yet I hope you learn and do not."
Thank you.
As you gather your things, your horses get a little antsy, and with a good, I don't know, what do you say? Yeah, or yip yip or whatever.
Wisna?
Well, we snaw. Your horses
Nope, that's P-speak.
head off in another direction. The rest of you look over and you see Rickety kind of looks at you guys with a sincere look that says, "You guys ready?"
Ready as I'll ever be.
As you say you're ready, she says, "Good." Turns around and again with mechanical whirring and strange movements, her body starts to contort and change. She bends and shifts, and her legs stretch behind her, her arms stretch out in front of her, her torso kind of stretches wider and longer, and you almost can't process what's happening. It's like some kind of eldritch horror thing is going on. And after a few seconds of this going on, you look, and in front of you is this mechanical looking carriage, and her head is up on the front like the mast of like the figurehead of a ship. She says, "Right, we gotta be on our way. Hop on." And she invites you all to hop onto her back to head out from the town.
She just Cinderella pumpkined herself.
Yeah, dang. It's impressive.
Or Optimus Prime, whatever.
I'm so glad that Polaris did not do that.
That's hilarious. Or Optimus Prime, guys. It's cool.
Yeah, whatever version you want to go with, Cinderella Pumpkin, Optimus Prime. She said, "Come on, guys. We've got no time to lose."
So who turned into the...
Rusty.
Who turned
Rusty.
themselves... Okay.
I think Rusty is more metal than Bird.
Yeah, Rusty's had a lot of work done to her, and she just
There's a
became
lot of work done.
a beast of burden, essentially,
Oh my goodness.
to transport you guys across long distances.
That's funny. So where are we going first?
Ghana would get on, but as Ghana's getting on, he goes, "I hope now you are more forthcoming with information. I have more questions."
To Rusty?
Yes.
Rusty says,
Because she didn't want to answer his questions when we were on the ship.
"Oh, right." Rusty says, "Look, I have nothing but debt to you guys now. And we've got a journey ahead of us, so I will be as forthcoming as I can." And so you guys take off, and riding on her back, you guys head off in not the opposite direction. Essentially, Polaris went north. You guys are heading east. Or sorry, she went east. You guys are going south. And you guys head off south. And it is a pretty long journey. The villagers provided you guys with some food and some, just some things to be able to keep you guys fed, and water and all those kinds of things. And so you guys head off to the south. It's been a couple of weeks. And so we're going to jump ahead just a little bit to the place that you find yourselves in as we kind of begin to wrap up here. You guys, as a couple of weeks have gone by, maybe not a couple, sorry, 1 week has gone by to get here. You have traveled. It's been a long time. You've had lots of time to talk. And you find yourselves having gone through, mostly this is kind of tropical, these islands. Lots of palm trees, lots of beautiful beaches, lots of this cliffs with these just magnificent overlooks. You arrive at the edge of the island that you were on, this big long island that you've been traveling across. And there's a sort of land bridge, not quite an island, it's like covered in thin, shallow water. And you cross it onto this small island. The last village you were in was a few days ago. So you're far away from any civilization. You cross this sort of land bridge across some shallow water onto this very small, you can almost see, if you look from the left and to the right, you can see the far edges on either edge of this island. Not large. And as you enter into it, this is the bog. The trees here are kind of mangled and and bend down, almost like they're sagging under the weight of some kind of heavy burden that this island carries. And you are journeying through the heaviness of it. And it gets a little bit darker as the shade from these trees becomes more and more dense. Where most of the islands that you've been going through so far, there's been trees, but they're relatively sparse. There's not like a thick canopy. Here in this bog, there's a canopy of trees, and it's getting darker. The ground is kind of muddy. There's patches of grass sticking out of the mud. As you come through this village, or this island, you approach what looks like a village. You see some scattered homes, but it quickly becomes obvious to you that all of these homes have been completely destroyed by what appears to be some kind of beast. You only know that because looking at the homes, there's big chunks. They look like they've been smashed. There's claw marks on the outside of some of these structures. They're like these wooden homes, and they've just been blown to bits by some kind of large animal. It seems, that from what you can see. And as you continue to roll through, you kind of come through, you see where there must have once been the center of this little village. There's kind of a well that's been smashed in and seems to be empty. It's dried up long ago. And a city hall that's also been destroyed. And Rusty just kind of looks at you guys and nods and continues to roll through. And as you guys get through this village to the far end of it, you pass out of what seems to be kind of the edge of the village, and you see just beyond the village, kind of on the outskirts, separated from the rest of these homes, one home that looks beautiful, undamaged, untouched. All you notice as you approach it is that it has what looks like fire damage on the outside. It looks like maybe once this home had been burned down, but it's been immaculately repaired, polished, tended to, every window replaced, every hinge and doorknob cared for. This home looks very well tended. Well, actually, let me correct that. It looks very well repaired, not well tended. It's covered in cobwebs and dust. And the door itself is kind of swinging open, and Rusty kind of pulls up and says, well, if there's anywhere that we need to start looking, I suppose it's here. And from inside, you just hear a voice that says, stop, do not enter. Stop, do not enter. And it's just like on a loop. And as you pull up and you stop and you find yourself in front of this strange home adjacent to this destroyed village in the middle of this desolate bog, I think that is where we will end today and where we will pick up our next session.
Can we end with Ghana casting Detect Magic?
Oh, sure. You can cast Detect Magic. As you cast Detect Magic, you get a sense that this whole place is well, there's no life, there's no magic in the village behind you. This home in front of you is not seemingly magic itself, but from beneath you, you can feel almost like if there was a concert in the room, like the house, one house over or something, right? Like you hear, it's like this massive, intense sense of magic just deep in the ground below you.
Okay.
There you go. With that sense for deep magic beneath your feet, this strange house in front of you, and the promise of an encounter with one of Velrath's next ministers, you guys step off of Rusty's back and begin to take your first steps toward this home. And that's where we'll pick up next time.
Hey guys, my name is Mark and I'm the lead pastor at Lux Digital Church. I hope you're enjoying the D&D campaign, the show today. I hope you're having a great time hanging out with the entire crew. And I also wanted to tell you that over in our Discord server, we have an ongoing Dungeons & Dragons West Marches style campaign. That means you can jump in and play at any time that is convenient for you, as long as there's a game being offered with a variety of different dungeon masters and players. We have games that are posted every single month that you can join in with, starting at level 1 and going the whole way up through level 15 in D&D in the new 2024 5th edition rules. If you're interested in joining in and playing some D&D with us, all you have to do is join our Discord server at discord.gg/luxdigitalchurch, and then go ahead and grab the D&D rule, slide down inside of the channels to the Play D&D section. You can look there and find different videos on character creation, different elements of the world that we're playing in, and then you can submit your character and jump in and adventure off of the guild board soon. Once again, I hope you've been enjoying the show and the live stream, and we hope to see you over in the Lux Discord to play D&D with us very soon.